This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
And welcome back, everyone. I've learned so much about something I wasn't even aware of ever since I met our next guest. And there's many different types of therapy out there that can really help move your life forward, one of them being drama therapy. And it works in many different ways, whether it's a smaller group, a larger group, a production, and certainly for all ages. And today, we're going to put a little more focus on drama therapy for older folks, how that might support them, help them work through life challenges. And she is a registered drama therapist, has been doing this for a long time, has an amazing passion for it. And again, she's the go-to for something I didn't even know it existed. Sally Bailey, back with us. How are you doing today?
Doing great. And happy to talk about older adults today because they are so fun to work with.
Interesting. Well, let's start right there. What makes older folks more fun to work with than, say, somebody who's middle-aged or even younger?
Because they are often ready to try something new. They have spent their whole life raising their kids, doing their job, and then they have the time to develop new talents. And it may be that they want to become a great gardener, or it may be that they want to do other things, but one thing is getting into the arts. And in drama therapy, you can get into not just acting, but writing about things, doing reminiscence work, creating plays for children so that you're giving back, because generativity is something that older adults really have. In fact, when I've worked with older adults, they've said, and you're going to bring your students with you, aren't you? I mean, we want to meet them. We want to work with them. Because they have all of this knowledge that they want to pass on.
Wow.
And another thing is that they can also be very isolated, and drama brings people together. Even in a nursing home or a retirement community, there are people who are very shy and don't go out and connect with other people. And there were two women who were so shy that when they were in a drama therapy group, both of them talked about their roommate. My roommate did this, and my roommate did that. And after about 3 weeks, it suddenly became clear that they were each other's roommates, and they didn't even know each other's names. And suddenly, in the drama group, they became very good friends and started to have a wonderful relationship. But a lot of times people, when they get to a certain point and they're in a supported living situation, they've had so many losses in their lives of friends and neighbors and family members, and the fact that they've lost living on their own, that they are almost afraid to reach out and make new connections for fear that they will lose them.
Yeah, let's look at that for a moment. Fear. I want to make sure I'm processing that right. So they have a fear of making new connections for fear of losing them?
Yes, because they've experienced loss so much. All of us who are younger, we experience loss, but we don't have a big backlog of loss unless we've been through a horrible war or a natural disaster. Most of us lose grandparents first. We might lose somebody in our school when we're younger, but we don't have 30 people who were close to us that we have lost because they have passed away or they have left your life for some reason. They're at the other side of the globe. And it gets lonely, yes, but Americans are more lonely now than they have ever been before. And it's like they're afraid to reach out.
Wow.
They're afraid of rejection.
And to your point, spot on. Even men 25 to 34, 44, it's been identified as an epidemic of loneliness. And and one would never think. You think, buds get together, play basketball, pool, go to, a bar, whatever, just hang out and just, talk as friends. But that one demographic is definitely feeling lonely right now. And one would never even think, but it's a reality. And certainly older folks. I had a conversation with somebody last night that was saying, yeah, once you get in your 50s, it's hard meeting people because your kids are older, so you're not interacting with the parents of other kids so much anymore. And back to the loss thing, it's my understanding even recently that most of us are grieving, but we don't even know we are for many different things. We just keep it inside, bury it. Maybe you left a job a few years ago. That's a loss. Divorce, relationship, certainly somebody passing, all these things that we don't realize, but we're actually holding on to grief, which is very powerful. But and it could be somebody even past 30 years ago, and you haven't moved on from that. Is that something that drama therapy can help work you through?
Yes, in fact, if a group was really wanting to work on their grief, if the grief had come up for them, you could do things to help work through the grief. Both psychoeducation, that you're never going to stop feeling sad about the loss, but that you can live through it and you can get enough distance to be able to think about the person without bursting into tears. Um, and part of that would be maybe by replaying some really important moments or saying something to that person who's gone that you needed to say to them, but you didn't get to say to them.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe you had a relative who never said, I love you to you. You can act that out in a scene. You can choose somebody in a group who has some quality of that person, and they could, in a scene, tell you how much they cared about you. And it would not completely take that loss away, but it would certainly give you the experience of having that experience. And sometimes, if you've really projected onto that person that they are that lost person, you get the feeling, you get the what we would call active witnessing of the loss and the pain that you have. Active witnessing is another one of those things that are part of every kind of drama therapy.
I got to imagine too, it might even provide a little bit of closure. And even on an energetic level, many believe, energy healers, that we have cords, energetic, you can't see them, but we are all connected, thousands all over all different cords. And they believe, and I'm on the page where you can energetically cut a cord if you don't want to be connected that way anymore with that person for whatever reason, um, emotional baggage, whatever it might be. So I have to believe that this can, in an energetic way, help you move forward when you act things out, and at the very least, provide a little bit of closure, maybe a little understanding in those situations. Wow. Sally, I didn't even think about that, acting that out where somebody.
And it may not be cutting cord. It may be that somehow you feel your message and their message has completed.
Yes,
I've
yes.
had somebody say, where they were apologizing to their parent for doing drugs, that they said, when you said, I understand and I want of, you to get better with all my heart, they feel like that came from the person who was not there with them anymore, not from the person who was portraying that person.
Wow. I mean, you think about hypnotherapy, what are you doing? You're hypnotized to go back, potentially your childhood. We got a lot of stuff there that needs to be healed. And that's taking you back there. I got to believe that in some ways, drama therapy is doing the same thing, taking you back as you acted out. So it's almost like you're doing it again. Because I know with hypnotherapy, it was almost like watching TV, Sally. It was like I'm
Mm.
watching myself as a child and seeing these things along the way, and then things come clear. Maybe I call it connected dots. Why, an adult does something now, or is challenged, or has a belief, limiting belief based on the childhood. It's like watching a movie. You're acting the movie out now in drama therapy. Never thought of it that way.
Well, and I've read things about memory that have said that when you remember something, it's you are in the present, even if it's a memory from the past. That there is only the now, um, because it's too hard to really understand what is the past and what is the future. We understand what is the now.
It's like oh, that's a great point. Your subconscious doesn't know time.
Hmm.
So whatever it's doing to support you or not, it thinks it's now. It thinks you're a kid. Let's say it came from your childhood. So when you act it out, you're in the now.
Hmm.
Wow.
I think that that's part of the reason why that is so healing of hypnosis or going back and bringing that memory to life, because it is if that negative thing never happened. You remember it, but the feelings of that negative experience change.
Do you feel that a lot of this is tapping in drama therapy is somehow activating your subconscious or connecting to it?
Very much so.
Wow.
Very much
You
so.
know what? We never talked about that to my memory in all of this. So, oh my gosh, seeing this, I thought drama therapy was fantastic. Now I'm seeing it in a whole different light. It's even more fantastic. Wow.
And
Wow.
I'm not going to come in the first or second time I talk to somebody and start talking about, we'll be speaking to your subconscious, because they'll go, oh, this is too woo woo for me. But ultimately, that's what's happening. Yes,
Hmm.
your conscious and your unconscious are coming together and communicating with each other.
Which is what you need to really have take place, because this is in the now, but you're being piloted by programs that were created when you were a child. Ah, amazing. So older folks, let's go back there. Tell me about that journey. Some of the things that are different for older folks, some of the things like we identified loss is a challenge for them. How about some more?
Well, it's interesting because it's always said in gerontology that older adults share a lot with teenagers, because teenagers want to be independent, but older adults begin losing their independence over time. Like the kids say to mom, you can't drive anymore. You get lost. You can't
Mm.
follow your way to the grocery store and home. You've had three wrecks because your eyesight is getting bad. That's a big loss. For my mother, that was a huge loss. Her car was part of her. It gave her her independence. If you move out of your home and you move into even a retirement community that is like a um, club, it's still a loss. I talked to a friend 2 days ago who said her mother was so homesick for her house. She's living with her daughter now, but she missed home, which is in a totally different part of the country, um, because that's where she's lived all of her life. So there are, losses like that, and you want to go be where you feel comfortable. Moving is a loss. I mean, at any time in our
Mm.
life, because you lose the people who were there as well as the place and where you feel comfortable.
Yeah. Scaling back, let's say you're older. or going into a community or maybe assisted living, whatever the situation may be. I didn't even think of it that being part of the loss as well.
Hmm.
Wow. Wow. What takes place? Let's say, it's a group situation, not the big production, which you do, a few times a year, as I understand it. Um, how did take us through that? I wish I could be the proverbial fly on the wall and see, how it all works. But take us through an average session.
Well, you could begin with, of course, checking in with everybody so everybody knows where everybody else is, and doing some kind of a warm up game that gets everybody connected and energized and relaxed. And then you might have, there are all these postcards with different pictures of people from, the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s. You can lay out these pictures of people who have different expressions on their faces. They're doing different things. And you have everybody look over the cards and pick one that resonates with them. You can either say resonates with you, or it could, this is how you feel today. But resonates is sometimes gives you a deeper aspect because there's something about that person that is familiar. And so maybe that doesn't have to do with what you're feeling, but there's a familiarity. And they take that card and they write a monologue for that card, for the person in the card. And then you share them by reading them out loud. That's a very distanced way to begin to work on that because they're able to project all of that feeling onto this character, and you can read it for everybody else. And it's not like you're saying, I'm depressed, or I'm homesick, or I'm sad. This character is.
But you're
You say,
essentially referring to yourself in it.
yes,
Okay.
yes,
Hmm.
because you picked it because of some resonance with it. I haven't gone around and gone, okay, you do this one, you do this one, you do this one.
It's nice because you're somewhat disconnected from it, and I've often heard people refer to themselves by their name. So, for example, Steve is in a great mood today. Steve is looking forward to a wonderful podcast. Instead of saying I am, which is a powerful statement in itself, I know quite a few people that say their name. I'm not really 100% sure why that's impactful. Any thoughts on that?
Um, well, I think actually that's kind of, it's distancing yourself from yourself because you're speaking of yourself as a different person. So
True.
that's protecting your vulnerability a little bit. So, I mean, I would say the difference between the person in the picture in the card and yourself, that talking about yourself in the third person would be in between those two.
Hmm. Yeah.
So maybe you're not ready to spill your guts to the group, and that's not required ever if you don't want to.
It's a character. It's
Mhm.
a it's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
it's a character, but it's the same thing if you watch a movie and a character resonates and it's like, wow, I could see me doing that. I would do that too. Oh,
Mhm.
yeah. And then you may be potentially rallying for the character in a TV show or movie because it feels good to you, but it's not you. You're
And
removed.
that can really help people. That's called cinema therapy,
Oh,
where you're using a piece of art to identify with a character and let them work through the problems. And maybe if it's a comedy or a positive show, you see one way of dealing with a problem, or you see somebody that you identify with succeed. And then if you're in a therapy group, you talk about different things that people saw and blah, blah, blah. Um, but also, it prepares you, it brings out those themes that people want to work on. And then when a group is ready, they can actually go into acting out a situation or acting out a moment and talking about, well, what was that like to go back to that?
hmm.
Is there a way you wish it had been different?
So you've mentioned before that puppets are used. Can we talk about that real brief? Um,
Oh, sure.
Because I would imagine that's kind of doing the same thing. You're acting something out. This is a character, in on my hand in this puppet. It really could be me, but it's a character. So it's like saying, your name again, as opposed to connecting it directly to you. Is that the purpose of the characters?
Yes, it's a matter of distancing, which is one of the core concepts of drama therapy. When you're not ready to do psychodrama and be yourself, you can get a character. Like I have a good friend here whose name is Murgatroyd. I'm Murgatroyd, and I'm kind of a pessimist. Somebody didn't want me and they put me in a garage sale. And I'll tell you, if Sally hadn't found me, I would have been probably thrown in the garbage. And she took me home, and I looked kind of funny because I've got these big flat feet. And she gave me a tail, and I like that tail, but oh, I'm still just crunchy and crunchy. That's just the way I am. And so sometimes people want to use me to kvetch, to complain, and I let them complain through me. Makes me feel happy.
Oscar the Grouch,
Yeah,
part two.
yes, exactly. And
Wow.
he was a unibrow, and he was made by somebody. It's not a professionally made puppet. It's just
Wow.
a piece of hair, fur that has been turned into a circular thing, and then a mouth was put at the one end, and his unibrow, which I love. Yes, don't you dare pluck my unibrow. It's my best feature. And then he was added his big feet, and I added his tail because he seemed kind of unbalanced. He needed some balance.
I can't believe that was made by somebody. It's just like a perfect puppet. And I really like using characters. I don't think I would be ready for being me in a production. I'll be somebody else. Doesn't have to be a puppet on a hand, but there's something beautiful about being able to project it away from you, but still get the benefits of it, working you through whatever it might be, loss, grief. It doesn't matter. Wow.
And the things about puppets is they can change what they look like. Like right now, he looks happy. He looks like he's smiling and excited. Yay, I'm so excited. So you also have the ability to
Morph.
have the character morph. Yes, exactly.
Because it's funny, when you were, the grouchy character, I'm seeing grouchy. But when you open up, the mouth and just like, I'm happy, I would think happy.
The world is an amazing place. Ah, I'm in wonder. So,
Amazing.
yeah. So, and I have a camel, which I didn't bring because when I put him on my hand, all he'll do is spit at people.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, yeah. So, I try to be a very warm and empathetic and happy person, but I'm also a grouch
We
sometimes.
all are. Yeah.
And I'm also a person who'd like to spit on some people sometimes. And so, the puppets will let out any of those things, and it's okay. It's not you being mean or bad, it's the puppet.
Exactly.
I'm being a great puppeteer by creating that voice and doing that action.
It's what I would love. Maybe some other time we get together, we try it, and I'll find something that resembles
Okay.
a puppet, be it a sock, whatever it might be. With a magic marker, I can get creative.
Oh, yeah.
I would love that. I mean, it just part of it's improv, part of it will come up with a scenario situation, whatever it might be. It could be real, maybe something we're dealing with, whatever it might be. I kind of think that would be fun, and maybe illustrate how this all works.
And this is a puppet, hello, who's based on Snoopy, as you can tell, that my grandfather made. My grandfather was a Boy Scout leader. And of course, he was a theater person. And so they had to do things. And he made Snoopy as his demo.
Wow.
And He likes to lick people and make them feel better.
Snoopy reminds me of, do you remember Shari Lewis?
Yes, she was one of my heroines as I was growing up. I
Lamb
watched
chop.
her
Lamb
all
chop.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. She was good. She was, very, it's amazing what we watched as kids and how simple it was, but how it made a mark and we connected to those characters, right?
Well, I kind of sort of believe that puppets are alive. I just have this belief. I have this guy I wanted to show you. He is a hippopotamus, and he was made from a hippopotamus stuffed animal by one of my students. We took out the insides of him
Yep.
and covered the inside, and then she made him a shirt. She went to the Goodwill and got a kid's shirt, cut off the arms, put
Love
on
it.
him, and then put these on him so that he looks I'm very smart. I'll help you. I will tutor you in your work, and I won't make you feel bad about yourself.
That is amazing. Like, what a cool dude.
I love
I
it.
think that's one of my favorites. Yeah. Sally, how do we find you? If somebody wants to learn more, I know that you're located in Kansas. But just even you're the go-to. I don't know anybody else doing this the way you do it. How do we connect with you?
www.dramatherapycentral.com.
Thank you for today. Thank you for just the realization of what is out there and how it works. Beautiful. I mean, now I'm seeing it even clearer in terms of the connection with our subconscious, and a beautiful thing. And we all have stuff we need to work through. Drama therapy being one of the ways to get through there. All right. Until next time, I'll be on the hunt for a puppet.
Au revoir.
Au revoir. All right. We'll talk soon. Thanks again.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.